Okay. Today, I want to start with the 3 minutes breathing space. This is a technique that very helpful that during the day when we have like a tense minute or some intense emotion, we can use this 3 minutes breathing space or even 30-second breathing space to help us to stay centered and stay in control of ourselves. So I think I should still start with a short review of mindfulness. What is mindfulness? Actually, mindfulness is paying attention to our attention. So think about it. So this is a series of mindfulness meditation. And mindfulness is a technique that is used very widely now in psychotherapy and the mental health counseling services. Because it basically is a technique for paying attention to our attention. Once we have a control of our attention, we actually can purposely direct our attention to productive part of ourselves or to the wise part of ourselves and not get trapped in those negative feelings or the negative trains of thoughts. So in a very basic technique for training ourselves to have a control over our attention is the breathing meditation. So it's very easy. It can be short, it can be long. Some people can sit for hours, just practice that. But we can also just use 30 seconds or 3 minutes for doing that. So today I want to start with this 3 minutes breathing space meditation. Okay, so what do we do? Basically very, very easy. Okay, I will invite you to adjust your posture. You can sit on the chairs. It's better to avoid the sofa because it will be sometimes it's just too soft. It's hard to find a firm position. So sit on the chair or on the floor and have your back straight up and your spine. Feel your spine is self-supporting and your 2 feet are flat on the floor. But this 3 minutes breathing space, you can also do it when you are standing. Standing can do that too, but because today we sit together, we just use a sitting position. Okay. After you find a relaxed position, and then quiet your mind. Now, observe your breath at the nose area. So collect your attention and focus your attention at the nose area and observe the breath. You can have your eyes closed or lower your gaze. And just focus your attention at the nose area and observe your breath. Observation means you don't intervene, you just observe. You don't want to manipulate your breath. You don't judge your breath. Just accept them as they are. As the way they are. Doesn't matter if it's long or short, shallow or deep. We just observe them. To help you observe your breath, you can feel the sensations that come with each incoming breath and each outgoing breath. In doing so, we are giving our full attention to our breath. And we are open to our breath. We keep our open awareness to our breath. Also notice that this awareness is really with the broadest acceptance. It's gentle. It's a loving awareness. It does not want to change or correct anything. It just wants to be there with the breath. Embrace the breath in the ways they are. And now we extend our attention to the whole body. Again, we maintain the same loving awareness. We maintain that gentle attention, or be with our loving, observing self. So our loving, observing self is that loving awareness, is that gentle attention. So we feel our whole body as we breathe. Feel the gentle movement of the body as we breathe in, as we breathe out. And now, I want you to open your whole body and breathe with the whole body. So like our whole body is an open system. We breathe in from all directions. We breathe out from all directions of our body. Like every single pore of our body became a little mouth or little nose. You may have some uncomfortable sensations, tension spots, pain spots. You recognize them, but don't try to get rid of them. We accept them. Befriend our pain, our uncomfortable sensations or feelings. If you do have some pain spot that kind of intense, let's breathe with that pain spot. We breathe in through that spot. Breathe out through that spot. Breathe in. Breathe out. If you don't have any tension spot or pain spot, just breathe in and out with your whole body. Okay, we use a kind of 5 minutes, a little bit longer than what I planned, but you can do that just in 3 minutes or even 1 minute, which is part of it. How do you feel after this few minutes, several minutes breathing meditation? We call it breathing space. Why we call it breathing space? Because this creates a mental space for you. Create a mental space for you to calm down, for you to get recentered, for you to just be yourself. How do you like it? You can share your thoughts in the chat if you have anything to share. If you don't feel pressure to say anything. So a few things I want to highlight. One is that because my voice guides your kind of activity, inner activity. And when I leave a long time, silent time, you probably will feel like your mind wanders away or drifts away all the time. That's just totally normal. And when you do it yourself, if you have that moments, that's totally normal. Don't judge yourself. Don't criticize yourself. Just tell yourself that's part of the training. That's part of the practice. So just gently bring back your attention to your nose or to your breath. And when you bring back your attention, you probably notice a shift of mode of consciousness. Because when we are with our observing self is all embracing. It's huge, it's big, it's boundless. It's transparent, and it's gentle and loving. So when you switch to that observing self, you kind of pull yourself from specific intense sensations or a train of thought and be into the whole universe or the big world. As the observing self, you can observe your mental activity, your physical activities. So as I mentioned quite a few times, this actually get a name, this technique of always identify or be with the observing self and pull ourselves out of some intense emotion and be with the loving, gentle, observing self. The term is decentering. Because when we are trapped in anger, when we are trapped in certain train of thought, we feel that this is all because I did that, so I have this, and why I did that, so now I'm suffering. If you are trapped in this kind of train of thought, you just feel your mental space become narrower and narrower. You kind of being contained in a tight space. And then you remind yourself, oh, I don't have to do this. I can pull myself out and be with the gentle, loving, observing self, the broader self. Then you can observe what you just had in your mind. Sometimes you may feel, actually, you don't have to think that way. There are other options. So we call that decentering. It's create a mental space for us. And once we have that switch, we always be able to pull ourselves out from those moments, from those tight space, and give us the mental space for a bigger self, a wider existence experiences. Then that is actually the central, most important, the essential component of mindfulness. And that is empowering because we have that control. Last week we did a loving kindness. We kind of learned to be more, to have more acceptance to ourselves, and give ourselves loving compassion, and also send a loving compassion towards others. Today, I want to, in today's practice, I want to make another connection, that is self and nature. I know some of you are still in that sitting position. That's good. Yeah. Well, still sit. Well, you can still have your eyes closed and just like you're still meditate. always keep in mind that your breath. Our breath can be our anchor point because it's always there. It's always there waiting for us, waiting for our attention. So while you're keeping in mind at your breath and feel the sensations of your whole body without judgment, without trying to get rid of anything, we adopt those radical acceptance, that attitudes towards this moment, towards whatever happened to us at this moment. At the same time, you can just, as I describe our relationship with nature from this perspective. So think about the nature. Some people characterize it into 4 kingdoms that I like. So the nature, like, first have the mineral kingdom. We have mountains, we have rocks, we have rivers. That's the mineral kingdom. And the second kingdom is the plants kingdom. So plants kingdom actually have the mineral kingdom in them because plant have the tree, have the trunk, have the leaves, have the materials made from the minerals. But what the plant kingdom is different from the mineral kingdom is that it has a growing, decaying, birth, death, that constant birth and constant death. Like every moment, think of a tree. In your mind, invite a tree into your mind. Think of a tree. Now is the season for the leaves to grow. They start with a little tiny bud, and then grow, and constantly every minute is growing. So that life, it's just life is in it, it's unfolding. The life principle is added to the mineral kingdom, so that form the plant kingdom. So plant kingdom, every moment, the new cells being born and old cells died. So new leaves birthed and old leaves died out. So that's the plant kingdom. And then we look at the animal kingdom. Animal kingdom has the minerals in it. It also have the minerals to build the physical body. It also have the principle of life in it, like plants. They grow and they die. So it's constant growth and death, birth and death for each cell. Every moment, the millions of cells in the animal that birthed and died. But on top of that, the animal kingdom has the sensations and the emotions. They has the wellness. They know what's around them. Think about the pets you have. It knows the time for the meals and what meals, like your dog, what he likes and what he does not like. So they have emotions, they have the feelings, the sensations. They are aware of their inner world. They are aware of they are aware of the things around them. But they are not aware of their inner world. So that's our human being. We, on top of the animal kingdom, the 4th kingdom is the human kingdom. So the human kingdom not only have the mineral, we build our bodies, we also have the birth and the death, we have the growth, constantly growth inside of us, the life principle. We also have the emotions and the sensations, we're aware of things around us. But we are different from the animal is because we have the self-awareness. We know what we are doing. We know, and we can reflect on why we feel this way. We can set goals for ourselves and correct our actions and adjust our emotions. so that we can reach our goals. So the self-awareness is what differentiates our human kingdom from the animal kingdom. And this self-awareness through the reflection actually is embodied in that observing self. So we always have that observing self as working with us, but most of the time we're not that conscious about it. The mindfulness practice is trying to train our consciousness of this observing self, of this highest principle of self-awareness in this world, so that we're not only aware what we're doing, what we're feeling, we can also adjust it. We also have a control over it, so we can direct it to the constructive direction. So as human, we can nobilize our feelings, purify our feelings, and we can adjust our action to make our body healthier, to change our life process, the growth process. So can have a control of our health, of our physical body. So that's why the human kingdom is the highest kingdom in the nature, because through our self-awareness, we can work on the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom, the mineral kingdom. We can make the world, the nature, a better place. But sometimes if we're not mindful, if we're not apply that observing the wise self, we just blindly to react to our sensations, emotions, our anger, our hatred. We can also bring damage or destruction to the world, to the nature. So with that, today I want to have a self-awareness, self and the nature meditation together with you. Okay. In this, we want to work on our loving awareness, our loving, gentle, observing self, to bridge and connect all lives and harmonize self and nature. So it's time to adjust your body posture again. Make sure your back is straight up, your spine is self-supporting. And relax. Just close the eyes or lower the gaze. Be with your observing self and observe your body. Observe that your body is sitting here quietly, calmly, in your room or in the woods you are in. You observe yourself sit in the city. There are buildings, there are people, animals, everything around you. Your observing self can observe them all. And we can expand our awareness to a larger region, the state, the continent, the whole earth, the planet Earth, everything on the earth. And even broader to the space, the whole universe. So be with the observing self. Feel that the broadness, the nimbleness of the observing self. Now, let's just pay attention, or just in our mind, we think of the earth, the nature. Doesn't matter how you define it, or the world. We think about the mineral world, the mountains, rivers, rocks, air, stars. And our body is always in exchange with this mineral world. Through our breath, through food we take in. And then we think about the plant kingdom, the trees, the grass, bushes, flowers. Feel their constant growth. Feel the changing. In the trees, the leaves always getting bigger now. And after a certain time, it'll start to shrink and decay. And the next year will start the growth again. The constant rhythm of growth and death. Now, we think about the animal kingdom. The pets we have, we know what they like, we know what they dislike. Like the birds, they have good views, they can see things. The dogs, they have very good function of smelling. Horses, they can run fast. And the last is our human kingdom. Only human, we have the self-awareness. We can reflect on our feelings and our actions. And that reflection is based on this observing self. When we observe the thought process we have, we observe the emotions we have. We don't have to correct them. By observing them, our wise parts start to work. The intuitions, understandings start to show up. So now we work with this observing self, and let's embrace all the kingdoms of the world, of the nature, into ourselves. Again, when we breathe in, we breathe in the whole world. We breathe out. We give ourselves out to the world, to the human kingdom, the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom, the mineral kingdom. Because they are all in us. In this observing self, we have them all in us. Under our loving attention, with radical acceptance. We can help our breath to open ourselves a little bit further by just remind ourselves we can be more open and more tender. So when we breathe in, we say to ourselves, open. When we breathe out, we say to ourselves, soften. open, soften, open, soften. And feel yourself melt into the mountains, into the rivers, into the rains, into the wind. Feel yourself melt into the forest, and you breathe wisdom. And when you melt yourself into them, they embrace you. And melt into the birds, fishes, into the dogs you have, cats, kittens you have. When you breathe in, you breathe them in, you accept them all. And when you breathe out, you give yourself to them. You feel that connections. You feel the bonds. You understand your paths. You understand the pains when they are hurt. And again, with all human beings, we embrace them all because we share the same loving awareness. Let's say to them, everyone, every person in this world, may you be happy. May you be peaceful. May you see the beauty of your true self. May you be healed. And we put ourselves among them. We feel that we are one of everyone in this world. We are many. We are one. When you send loving kindness to others, you are also sending loving kindness to yourself. And we think of all the animal kingdoms. We give our loving kindness to them. We want to protect them. May you be happy. May you live freely. We feel the pain when animals are abused. And we send them our loving kindness. Now we send the loving kindness to the plant kingdom. The nature embraces us all the time. Whenever we need a fresh air, they always give us the loving embracement. Think of the forest. May you be healthy. May you grow freely. We feel when the forest being cut off, when the trees being burned because of some actions of human beings. We feel them. We want to take care of them, just like we're taking care of our health, our growth. And the mountains, when they are blown out or flooded by the explosives, the bombs, we feel the pain too. We want to take good care of the nature, the mineral world, like we are taking care of our physical body. So feel that connection between ourselves and the world. The mineral kingdom to our physical body. The plant kingdom to our health and growth. The animal kingdom to our sensations and feelings. And with all human beings, we share this observing self. We all have that self-awareness that we can use to make the world better. So now, just open yourself like a flower open to the sun. You open yourself to the warm, bright sunlight. Let the light light up your whole body, every single cell of your body, your mineral part of the body, your growth part of your body, your emotions, sensations being purified by the light. And in this observing self, you are one with the light. You are the observing light, the observing self. We put ourselves in the light for a few minutes and use this light to light up every part of our body, light up the things around us, the whole world, and the observing self. Let's look at everything in light with tender love. I'll give you a few minutes silent time. Just be with your loving, observing self in the light. I want you to pay attention to your heart area. Feel the warmth of your heart. That this warmth spread to every part of the body, to the feet, to the hands, to the head. We feel our brightness in the light. We are determined to be with our observing self, the loving awareness, to always keep our emotion in check, keep our actions in control. We can always be with our observing self. Yet naturally, when we do that, our emotion will be purified, will not be trapped in anger and other activities, because our observing self is beyond it. It's beyond the disturbance of anger and hatred. The content of our observing self is love, is acceptance. It can melt away those negative emotions. It can nobilize our emotions and feelings. By doing that, it will help us maintain a healthy lifestyle and further have a control of our health and physical body. That's why we said in the first class, it is true empowerment. Now we're going to wrap up this self-awareness, self and nature meditation. When you are ready, you feel free to open your eyes and be with the group again. You may need a few minutes, it's fine. Give yourself time. Okay. Anything you want to share, you can share in the chat. I have a question. How do you keep from going to sleep? Yeah, when you feel very sleepy, there are two strategies I use. Sometimes I'll just before I do it, I take a nap or just make sure I'm in a time that I'm always awake, or I will just try to wake up myself. So in that way, my practice will become fall asleep and wake up, fall asleep and wake up, and that is also a practice. So think about this. When we go from the trapped small self to the big open observing self, we are actually is awakening. We are experiencing the process of awakening. So when you try to want to fall asleep and you wake yourself up, you want to fall asleep, you wake yourself up. I do that all the time too. So that sometimes that's just the content of that practice that day. So meditation is different every day, every time, every session. Sometimes it's so pleasant. It's just very blissful. Sometimes it's just a struggle, but the thing is persistency. Yeah, we want to strengthen our observing self, the consciousness of that observing self, and that take practice. Yeah, good question. Thank you. And Kathy feel like went very deep and far at the same time. Oh, that's nice. That's a very, I would say you probably enjoy that. And I have a question about have pain on the knee, but not sure how to breathe into the knee and other part of body. Okay, how about let's do that together? Okay, I hope your knee is not hurting anymore because it's always changing. I know that. It's so if you, how about everybody now? We're just together. We breathe with our knee. How to do that? Just move your attention to the knee, to the sensations of your knee. And you use your mind. You feel, you imagine, basically, you imagine that. You breathe in through your knee. Or you can imagine you breathe from the bottom of your feet. Breathe into your knee and breathe out. Let it go. Let it fall like the water rain down. Like a waterfall, you breathe out through the feet. Okay, let's do that again. Breathe in through the feet. Feel the knee. Breathe out from the knee, through the legs, through the feet, into the ground. Breathe in again. Breathe out. When you breathe out, it's almost like a free falling. It's not all those pressure, all those stuff to run down through your legs and through your feet into the ground. And the Mother Earth know how to recycle those. And actually, The universe or the Mother Earth always want us to give our burden to the world. We give our burden. We just like the Bible said, we lay our burden at the feet of God. They don't want us hold it on to ourselves, because if we hold it on, we're in that tight space again. We trap ourselves in that tight space. And we are so loved. And we're always being reminded that it's okay to let it go and to be with that open, loving, observing self, the bigger, the limitless space. So I hope through this breathing to the knee, you kind of know how to breathe into the other part of the body. You can just do any part of the body. Just feel or imagine you breathe into that place. You will feel it after a little bit. And I have another question about the focus of today. Yeah, thank you for asking that. I think it's a good time to kind of give a review of what we did in the 4 weeks. We start with the mindfulness is paying attention to our attention, building the awareness, the switch between the smart trapped self to the observing, bigger, broader, loving, observing self. And the second week, we do the body scan. We kind of bring the mind and the body together. We learn how to feel the sensations without judgment. Basically, we just accept ourselves as we are at this moment. Even pain, we accept it. And the third week, we work on the loving kindness. We work on the self-compassion and compassion towards others. And today, our focus is on the self and the nature. Build the connection between ourself, our being, and the nature. So what is the goal? The goal is we want to change by working with this observing self. We want to change our life from always try to have more, from having to being. We want to free ourselves from rigid habits to continually restarting growth. We want to change our emotion from reactive emotion to objective values. We want to open ourselves from the trapped, tight space to the broader, bigger, wiser observing self. So then the observing self can work with the doer, the everyday self, or the lower, will work with the doer together in this world. That will bring a productive life. That will lead us to a life, a gentle, loving life, and also can help the world, change the world into a better place.